Good morning, how are you? I'm just doing a quick video so that you can see exactly how to prepare your Japanese knotweed shoots. They taste exactly like rhubarb and it's really simple to prepare. Make amazing crumbles and desserts. Just do it or handle it exactly how you would rhubarb. So what I do is I either work with them fresh, or if I don't find so many at a time, I put them in a Ziploc bag and freeze them. They freeze really, really well, as you can see, that gorgeous color. And there are a couple of things you can do. You can do a savory Japanese knotweed shoot, which means that you take the shoot and you wrap it in bacon and simmer it or saute it to your heart's content. Some people also add pineapple with that. Or you can do what I do, which is I create a canned version, which I use at later dates. So this is Japanese knotweed that I've canned. If depending on how much I've managed to forage, I either do big ones or small ones. The thing with foraging is that it's kind of like a continuous process. So today I've got enough in my saucepan, I would say, for 2 big jars, and I'm going to show you what I do. So first of all, I clean my Japanese knotweed shoots. Just put them in water, give them a good rough around, and then I just chop them in diagonal slices and I put them in my saucepan, just with a little bit of water. And then what I tend to do is once they start breaking down, I'll add 1 or 2 cups of sugar, depending on how sweet I want. I always add lemon, because lemon just really cuts that flavor of the earthiness of a Japanese knotweed and gives it the flavor that we all love of rhubarb. And then sometimes I'll add cinnamon, sometimes I'll add nutmeg, depending on what I want to do. So some of the ones I have here, and on my lids, you'll see it says +3. So I've added 3 cups of sugar to make it extra sweet for people who I know love really sweet things. And then there are other ones where I've said, this big one here, I've just gone knotweed and cinnamon. So they are different flavors depending on what it was I want to do with them. So yeah, 2 cups of Japanese knotweed, whack them in your saucepan. I like to cook with either steel or cast iron. This is obviously steel, this is German steel, it's good, had it for a long time. And I cut it into diagonal slices, I start to break it down, then I add my sugar to taste. Some people are very methodic with their cooking. For me, I do it to taste, and we all have different taste buds. So usually it's like a 2-to-1 ratio. 2 cups of knotweed, 1 cup of sugar. Like I say, some people like it sweeter. I add like 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. Usually makes it work for me, but if you feel like you need to add more, then please do so. Again, this is your own personal thing. This is your own personal adventure with Japanese knotweed, which is the plant we've always loved to hate, but I'm here to tell you it's absolutely fantastic dessert. And then basically, once I've got it down to a desired consistency, then I take this, which I always use for my canning, and it has lots of different names, so I'm not going to use the one I use, and a Pyrex. And all I do basically is I scoop this into my saucepan and place onto my jar, and then I pour in the Japanese knotweed mixture into my jar and tap it, take it off. I leave it to, if you can see here, I pour it up to about here, okay? It's really important at this stage to make sure that you've cleaned the rim of your jar. It's very important, otherwise you won't get a good seal. Okay, so you put the flat top on top, and then you take your screw and screw it in, okay? And don't do it too tight, but just screw it in. And then what we do is we take our jars, however many you've managed to fill, and put them in our large saucepan that I have ready to go with boiling water. Always make sure before you do this process that your rims and your screws are nice and sanitized. I put them in boiling water for a couple of minutes, because you don't want any germs contaminating your knotweed. Then your jar will go off and it'll be a waste of your time, effort, and the delicious knotweed, I have to say. Not that I'm a big fan of it or anything, but I am. So yeah, you've got it in your jar, you've got your cap on, you've got your screw on, and then you're going to put it into your big pan of boiling water. Now it's important to have the water about an inch above your the lids of your jars, okay? Now I am 3,000 foot up elevation on a mountain, so my canning times are going to be slightly different from yours. So I would always say go onto your cell phone or a wonderful cookbook or the internet and have a look at how much is recommended for your specific location and can until that time. So once you have something to pull your cans out with, and in this case I'm actually going to use the correct tool, which is amazing because so often in my life I'm jimmy rigging things around, but this is the correct tool that you're using to get your cans out of the boiling water once they've finished canning properly. You're going to place it on the underneath the rim of the jar and pull them out, put them on to the side and let it cool down. At this stage, if after a couple of minutes they're canned correctly, you will start hearing like a noise as the suction from the air cooling down pulls the can lid tight and creates that wonderful vacuum that you're looking for. If you're finding that you're not getting that with your jar, even after like half a day, and it's still quite bouncy on the lid, then it's not being canned enough. And all you need to do at that point is uncan everything and just go through the whole process, but add more time, and you'll come to your conclusion. For me up here, 3,000 foot elevation, I'm usually boiling things about 25 to 30 minutes. But like I say, everywhere is different, every elevation is different, every location is different. So please do research that before you do it yourself. The cans themselves are wonderful. I keep them in a dark area downstairs next to my jams and jellies and pickles. They're a fantastic thing. I usually find that this large jar is good enough for a Japanese knotweed and apple crumble, which is amazing, and I heartily recommend you try it, especially seeing as Japanese knotweed is considered such an invasive, and people are really trying to get things, trying to get rid of it. So why not eat it? I think it's a fantastic way of getting rid of it. I will say, as I've said in other videos, that the best time to harvest Japanese knotweed is about this height, but you can go from here to about 3 foot. After that, you'll find that the inside of the knotweed becomes very hollow and you're not really getting the effect that you really need. Having said that, in a survival situation, I would be eating Japanese knotweed till it was like 7 foot tall. But if you're at home and you can be a bit picky, then this to about 3 feet is what you're looking for. Okay? I think that's all. This is just a quick little video here. I look forward to showing you more videos of bits and pieces that I do and how I cook them going forward. I hope you're all great. Have a great rest of your spring. It's certainly beginning to happen up here if the rain would stop. And have a great weekend regardless. Okay, take care. Bye. There is one other tool that you are going to need when you are canning, and that is this wonderful beast. It comes in different designs, but basically what it does is it makes it easier for you to pull all of your jars out at the end of canning, and some of them even have raised platforms to create a gap between the bottom of the pan, the boiling water, and your can, because what can happen sometimes is that can create breakages. Now, a really easy way to protect your jars, if you don't have one of those, is to use these. These are the lids from your canning jars, from your Bells or your Atlas jars, and put them at the bottom of the saucepan face downwards, and that creates this depth here of protection from the water and the vibration of that water onto your glass jars, which so often creates breakages. So place them all down so that they fit snugly at the bottom, and then put your jars on top. That's a really good tip, so I'm glad I remembered to tell you that one.